It's the intergalactic soul, the honorable brother, the revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
So I guess it's gonna listen. I'm not used to being the host here. Okay. Like, is that picture gonna come off? No. Okay. The picture that I spent 5 minutes trying to find for this show. So again, welcome to Powerbombshells. I am Sam. That is clearly not male. But
what?
We do have Collins back joining us and gracing us with their presence. We are here to talk about the wrestling we watch. This ended up being a kind of an eventful week, but first, before we get into all of that, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm recovering from wedding number 3 this summer. So,
Busy.
I've been a little busy, stayed longer than I anticipated at this wedding. But let me tell you, I love a full wedding. All the things you love about fall is in the decorations, plus photo booths, plus like leaves being incorporated. And there were tacos at this bar. So
even better.
I loved everything about it. It was a great time. I'm a little tired. Apologies for my designer eye bags today.
Hey, designer's always good.
Could not be bothered to put on a stitch of makeup. So, but here we are. I got my favorite Diet Coke shirt.
Yes. With
a Diet Coke from Wendy's.
There you go. Perfect.
And of course my Celsius, because everybody needs caffeine. But Sam, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's a little rainy, not too bad, but this is the first weekend that I've had to bust out leggings because here in the South it's still been in the 80s in October. It's gonna be in the 80s again Wednesday and Thursday, but I had to bust out the Halloween leggings this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
It's been chilly, but then it's going to be hot again. And so I'm like, this is why I always leave out, before I swap wardrobes, I always leave out things because I know this is going to happen. And it'll be hot and cold. And then I'll have a sniffly nose like I'm a kid.
I feel like everybody, especially around here. So for those who don't know, I live in the greater Seattle area. Shout out Pacific Northwest. It is very rainy and cold, and someone flipped a switch and it went from being 85, 90, beautiful, sunny, and then all of a sudden it has been rainy and 56 all week.
So you've had twilight weather. You've had hoa hoa weather.
Hoa hoa hoa. Absolutely. Yes. So like I went from not wearing a jacket when I go to work, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, where are my jackets? I'm freezing.
Yeah, we had to pull out blankets, like, because it's that time of year where like you can still have the air on, and so it's comfortable, but then it gets a little chilly, and so you're like, I need a blanket, and then it gets hot. You're like, why do I have this blanket on?
I did the other day. I gave the dogs a bath, and I did turn on the fireplace.
Oh wow!
And I have older dogs, so they get the fireplace, and they're like, oh, fireplace. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna burn yourself. Right.
Yeah, we have like a little portable heater, and we had, especially when we had our Yorkie, and he would get really cold, and we'd turn it on, and he'd like go lay in front of it.
Yeah, and it's like share the wealth. Come on,
right? I know you're like 4 pounds, but please,
the
rest of us need some heat too.
And of course, I've never had a fire, but growing up, we had this big German Shepherd, and he used to try to scoot his bed closer and closer to the fire. And we used to have a wood burning stove, and he got it so close that it singed the dog bed. And it was like, because I have one of those noses that I can smell things.
Yeah.
And I was like, something smells like burning. And it was like everybody's eyes went to the wood burning stove, and I was like, oh no. And it's, of course it's smoking, and then the alarms are going off, and you're like, Dog, you just burned down the house.
Right. You wanted to get warm. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, dogs.
But,
They're so funny.
Yeah, houses here are meant to keep wet out,
Right.
but keep the warmth in. So it
Yeah.
is kind of nice, especially during the most dreadful winters, that we really don't have to turn on the heat that much
Wow.
often. You just
Yeah.
on for a little bit and then it just stays warm.
Dang, that's nice. I mean, it makes sense because of where you're at, but then because of, climate change and the such, it's,
It's great.
now it changes a lot.
Summer, it sucks. Every window's open.
Oh, God, I bet.
We don't have central air. So
Right.
I bought my first air conditioner, which is over here.
And we're the opposite because I grew up in the South, so I do have air conditioning. I have a ceiling fan in my bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
So ceiling fans, the other rooms have ceiling fans in them because it's hot.
Yeah.
And now
geez.
it stays hot later into the year. Because,
Yay.
yay, climate change. And Nikki said, listen, I don't like the cold weather and I have a hard time letting go of warm weather, but once it gets to October, I'm like, please drop to at least 70. Like,
Oh my gosh.
they're like, yeah, you get your. Actually, Mike Gilbert, who used to have a show on this network, and now he has his show is elsewhere, but he just moved from Hawaii to South Carolina, and he works in Charlotte. And so the other day he tweeted me, and he was like, "Can I bust out the hoodies, or is this like another fake fall?" And I was like, you can bust it out for this week. This was like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, and then I sent him like what the next week was going to look like. And he's like, damn it. And I was like, yep. Welcome to the Carolinas. Welcome.
Oh my goodness.
A little crazy. And then also before we get into some stuff, shout out to Collins and the Mariners as Collins plays for the Mariners.
I play for the Mariners. Yeah.
So shout out to them for making it to the next round of the playoffs, and that's super exciting for you, especially because my team, it was terrible this year, and I was just ready for the season to be over. And then, as I was telling Collins before we went on air, I'm just super excited that the Phillies have been knocked out, the Yankees have been knocked out. Now we just need to get the Dodgers knocked out. I'm just gonna, I think I'm just gonna go Mariners all the way for the rest of the season.
Listen, you could see over here, I have an original, those towels that they hand out? That is a 20-year-old towel.
Wow.
That I got at one of those games that it was like a rally towel, right?
Yeah.
And it is so old, and I've never been able to moves and everything. I've never been able to part with it. Always been a Mariners fan. Always rooted for the Mariners, even when it was very difficult to root for the Mariners.
I know how that is. I'm a Panthers fan. I get it.
Yeah. But that was one of our family traditions was getting because they still have bench seating in the outfield. So we would get some bench seating. Awesome. It'd be 20 of us, my cousins all included. And we would just watch the Mariners play. So
that's awesome. It's very exciting.
Unfortunately, I only went to one game this summer because I bought tickets for a couple others. Yeah. And I either came in contact with someone that had the virus. So I was trying to be cautious.
Yeah.
And then two of them, I got the stomach bug.
Oh no.
And it was when the Red Sox were here, which is it's a big thing. So it was like, oh
damn, of course it would be that series.
Yeah. So but
yeah, I'm very excited. I have a friend who is first of all, the Mariners social media team is one of the elite teams.
Incredible.
I follow them because they're so I started following them a few years ago just because they're so much fun and they interact with other teams and they're a blast. They are very good at their jobs. And so I've been following them for a few years and I have some friends that are fans. And actually yesterday, a friend of mine is a really big Eugenio Suarez fan, and so she got a tattoo of him yesterday, and it's really cool. It's like a outline, like it's like a kind of like an outline of him, and then he's in one of the City Connect jerseys, I think, and he's like blowing a bubble, and it's very cool. And she's a huge fan of his, so I was like, and so she was like, it makes me so happy, and so she, of course, also just like you, is super excited about the Mariners. And so I have another friend who was a big Mariners fan too. That's his National League team. He grew up, he's a Giants fan, but he grew up in the Seattle area. So he went to a lot of Mariners games. And so he's super excited. He's like, of course, now that I'm, cause he's actually living in Hawaii. And he's like, of course, now that I'm not on the mainland, and I can't get to the games. But yeah, he's super excited. So it's very cool. I love seeing I know it's so like cliche, but I like the when like the Cinderella teams make it in and do really well. Like that. I mean, because the Mariners, they're a very good team, but like I think some people, like you and I were just talking about, like they've never even been to the World Series before.
Never gone to the World Series,
Crazy.
And like never even had the opportunity to go. They've always been knocked out by unfortunate circumstances late in the playoffs. I did want to also note that the last time the Mariners were in the playoffs, Dan Wilson was on the Mariners. He was playing Mariners, and now he is their manager.
That's crazy.
Crazy. What? Cuckoo banana pants.
Right.
And it's like, every city has their local, whatever. Yeah. Story. Remember the 97 or 98 or whatever, the 2000 Mariners go down, and like the thing that we talk about when we have nothing to talk about, right?
Right. Yes.
So so like Jay Buhner and Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez, like Griffey, everybody has statues all around this city, or even streets named after them. There are different places that have national holidays dedicated to these veterans, and now seeing Dan Wilson basically like leading this team hopefully to the World Series.
Talk about the Cinderella story.
Would be incredible.
Oh, so now I need it to happen.
But the wedding that I went to yesterday, they both are huge Mariners fans, like season ticket holders and everything. Right. And I joked with the groom. I was like, if they had lost, he was like, oh, I would be crying. I would be crying. I would be inconsolable today.
Right.
I would need a mood stabilizer. I'm like, well, it's a good thing that this is a good omen. So,
Did they watch before? I mean, I'm sure they had their rehearsal dinner and like that 15-hour game probably, or 15-inning game probably started like during their rehearsal dinner and probably lasted.
Yeah. I mean, it's the longest postseason game since the Mariners and Astros played an 18-inning marathon at Game 3 in 2022.
The Braves and the Astros did that to get to the playoffs. 2000. I can't remember what year it was, but it was like a 15 or 16 inning game, and then it was a go home game, and the Braves ended up losing. So we sat through like 2 ball games basically to lose and go home. So those things are, and I can't imagine like. Because, watching the game and having, because I was telling Collins that I didn't realize that the game was still on because I was on SmackDown duty, and then I was getting my Collision preview. And after SmackDown, we saw that Nikki and I saw Scream was on. So we were watching Scream, and then I was like, what do you mean there's a 15? And, people were like, this is the greatest baseball game of all time. And I was like, what do you mean I missed the greatest baseball game of all time? And I was like, they were like, these aren't even my teams. And I was stressed out. And they were like, I can't even imagine how stressed out their actual fans were, because they were like, I was super stressed. And they're like, I have no dog in this fight.
Well, it's one of those things that the Mariners do, is that a lot of people go, Mariners lose in their opportune time. They get the momentum going.
Sounds like some Braves. Some
Braves and teams. In the end, when they should be performing, they Mariners themselves out. So I'm really glad that it didn't happen. Whatever happens, I'm so proud of my boys, but please go to the World Series. Make my heart so happy.
We need it. And then Collins can have an episode called Baseball Made Me Cry.
I love it. I really do. Baseball is like my other sport, right?
Same.
So wrestling
Same
is
here.
like number one.
Right.
Baseball is always number two. So
same for me. I am right there with you. So I totally get it. That's why I was like, wait a minute, we have to talk about the Mariners before we go any further, because
listen, so growing up, you know, Mariners are an American League team. My dad is from Boston, so he was a Red Sox fan.
Right.
Grew up always hating the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez made it very easy to hate the Yankees.
That's the truth.
But the short year and a half that I moved to Pittsburgh, I fell in love with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they sucked so bad. They sucked so bad. But I loved PNC Park. There is just something I really love about going to different parks, experiencing their culture.
Yeah.
And baseball, it's boring. Okay, but a lot of people could say that about any sport.
Yeah, I love
if you're not invested in it. I love the culture. Right. I love going to other cities, and I love seeing how other people behave. And I also always love a ballpark frank.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ballpark franks are so different than anywhere else.
They're $10. Okay.
Right.
But like, you get it
it
the way that like that specific stadium does it.
Right. You're paying for the experience too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I haven't been to PNC, but it's beautiful. Like, and I always
overlooks the river.
Yeah. Like, what a stunning view. I've always heard that like people love PNC. They're like, once you go, like it will be one of your favorite ballparks. Like, it's great.
So where I was working and living, it was literally just a quick little bus ride over.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't realize that like you could go up to the ticket window and just be like, can I just get like, you know, your cheapest ticket?
Right.
And I would just walk all around. Cause like, I'm an anxious person. I don't need to stay for the whole thing, but sure, I have a seat, but I want to be in there. You could stand in the garden area. You can
that's what Nikki and I would do. We would do like we go to Atlanta. It's been way too long, but like that's what we would do, because especially because I was invested before Twitter was the nightmare that it is. Like I was really like heavy into Braves Twitter, so I had like friends that were like all over the app, and in the summer times, like people would be like, hey, when are we coming into town? Like we would kind of coordinate and find out who was going to be at games, and so like we'd buy a ticket and we'd sit in our seats for like the beginning and like be there for the national anthem and, you know, getting started. Then we would like start texting people and be like, okay, well, we're going here. And so then we would like go stand around and watch the game, like on the TV, like we could see it, or we'd be like, they have the TV by concession. So we'd keep an eye on the game, but we would just like talk with our friends. And it was always such a fun time. And like I don't think they do them anymore, but like one of the things that Nikki and I went to, they did a social media night because Braves Twitter was like so like active. And so like it was a bunch of us that were on Braves Twitter, and we all went to the social media night, and like we had seats together, and like we got to meet a couple of players, and like they had the players come out and do photos with us, and like it was really cool. And they had like trivia questions, and you could win stuff, and like it was a blast. So like I love baseball.
I love baseball. So much fun. And I just think that it brings people together in ways. I mean, sports tends to do that.
Yes.
But it brings people together. There will be the thing that, okay, so I've been to Fenway. I've been to Mets Stadium and the old Yankees Stadium. Nice. Like I love going to these different places. The difference between Fenway, which Fenway is so small compared to all these other. Right. Fenway, everybody is locked in on the game.
Yeah.
Everybody is participating in the game.
Yeah, right. I bet so.
Back when it was Safeco Field, now T-Mobile Park,
right?
There will just be people on laptops, on their phones. Like there was one time that like this guy brought his whole like setup, and I have no idea what job he was doing, but he was literally like grandstand with his laptop with something covered over it.
Wow!
And it was like, are you here to watch the game? Like, are you?
Yeah.
gun to your head? Like, why are you here?
Yeah, like why are you like? I get like working away from the office or whatever, but like having a whole setup at the ballpark is
that's
insane
my
behavior.
only qualm, especially when the Mariners were not doing great, is that like people are there, but I don't know if they're actually there for, watching the baseball. And it's also kind of fun when the team is not doing great, because then the ticket prices are like $15.
Right. Yeah.
They just want butts and seats at that point.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Bring your entire office. Just have the office. Just bring the whole office down and come watch.
Exactly.
Crash says that that something that they've only ever heard mentioned in movies sounds damn tasty. Big shout out to everything Nola though. And then he said the Crash also says that it's like baseball to me. Although I've been to a baseball game in New York, the Mets, years ago. Very cool. And he said one of the pictures came out to Darth Vader's. He was like,
I love when they do those themed nights. Can I just say, this needs to happen in wrestling more often. And I know that it does happen with like the video games coming out, and they have, but coming out to the music, there's at least at Safeco Field, they have a Star Wars night, and they have fireworks afterwards that are with Star Wars music, and they all come out to the different Star Wars themes.
Yeah.
And when they're swinging their bats, they make the zoom, zoom, zoom noises like on the Jumbotron. It is a lot of fun. Yeah. There's specific Star Wars themed like food stations, different places on all levels. Because I love a 300 level just as much as I love a 100 level. Yeah, because I like a little bit of seeing the sound, seeing the whole city, and then when I really want to watch the baseball, I'll be on the 100. Right, but it's just so much fun.
Yeah, because you get the vibes up there in a different kind of way, and like. We, because Nikki and I have done that, except for we made the mistake of not thinking about it being like late, like the game. So the sun's setting like right on us, and then it's like 900 degrees. That was not fun.
That's when you get up and start walking around. Right, and then I
was like, it's hot. Let's go find people. Like I gotta get out of this. But yeah, I like sitting up there too. And sometimes they have like really good food up there too. Yeah, it's fun.
And the one thing about Safeco Field that I know started the trend is that they have a retractable roof. Right. So when it starts raining, because it does rain in Seattle a lot, there's a retractable roof. So you're not getting rained on. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah. The Braves don't have that. They don't have it. And neither do the Knights, because we haven't been a couple seasons, but we go to the Charlotte Knights games. Also don't have a retractable roof. So it gets hot.
It can get hot. You can get rained out.
Nikki and I went to the Savannah Bananas game. They came this year, and they were at Bank of America Stadium, and like it's open air, and it was fine. It didn't rain, but it was so hot. And then it didn't help because it was the time of year it was. There's so many people. I mean, getting to the stadium was a nightmare because for some reason they decided that they were also doing Taste of Charlotte.
Oh my God.
Weekend, like right in the same area. Ugh. So like we had to walk, like my dad was like, I can't get any closer because he was dropping my sister and I off, so we didn't have to take an Uber. Or so I didn't have to pay for parking because parking was ridiculous. We had to walk 3 blocks to the stadium. We ended up missing like the first inning, but there were a ton of people walking for the same reason. They couldn't get any closer. And so they're supposed to be, but the game itself, like going was so much fun. It was a blast, and then getting out of there was also a nightmare because then we had to find our dad. Like our dad was like, I can't get any closer. And so like, then we were trying to find him and then he couldn't find us. And it was a night all of that stuff was a nightmare. The game itself, amazing. I highly recommend going to a Bananas game if you can get tickets. And they're coming back next year, but this time they'll be where the Knights play, which is basically across the street from Bank of America. And you have to, of course, they have like a lottery, and that's how you get tickets because it's so hard to get tickets. But we were very lucky and got to go. So I highly recommend if you're able to go to a Bananas game, go. It's so much fun. It's such a different experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They were just here.
Were they? Yeah, they just announced their new schedule like 2 nights ago, and they've added a couple of teams for next season, so there'll be even more teams playing, and like it's such a good time. So I highly, if you're able, and I know tickets are very hard to get, but if you're able to get them, do yourself a favor and go if you can, because it's fun.
I've seen people hate on the Savannah Bananas, and they were like, why, like, just play baseball if you want to play baseball. And it's like, people aren't going to watch, like
high for the experience.
Right, it's an experience. It's a moment. And I'm like, would you say this about like the Harlem Globetrotters? You
right, which is basically what the Bananas are. They're just taking that thing and just moving it into baseball, and then they're adding because you have to get, I mean, it's hard to fight for people's attention, and some people aren't going to regular baseball games, so if you can get them to a Bananas game and be like, hey, you know what, this is a really interesting take, and then they sing and dance, and they bring people, they've been like bringing bands out and all kinds of like cool stuff.
So when they were here, the lead singer from Train came out. Yeah. And he came out from the set. I always forget that he lives in the nice area of Snohomish County, which is just like a little bit further, but it's like the forest and the trees kind of area. Right. I always forget that he just has like a house off of the lake over there, which is like, okay. Yeah. I forget.
Yeah.
But he was there and he did like a whole little thing, and it was just
they brought in like they brought in for us, like, they brought in, so Brantley Gilbert, I think, was who performed, which I had he hasn't put out music in forever, but like they had, because it was 2 nights. I forget who was there for night 1, but we got Greg Olson, we got Luke Kuechly, we had, I don't think it was Thomas Davis. It was, I'm blanking on who it was, but they brought in like the football aspect of it, but was really fun. Like they had Greg Olson was out there pitching for like a couple of batters or something, like, but it's a blast. Like it's like, where else are you going to see? And maybe that's not for you. Maybe you don't want to see football players at your baseball game, but because I think the night before, I think they had some Hornets players. Yeah. And so then our night, I was glad that we got the Panthers players, and we got some of the favorites. And so it was, I don't know, I loved it. And I was like, if you're going to criticize, I was like, you're not going for baseball. I mean, yes, they do play baseball, but like, I am going to watch stilts. This woman who comes out on stilts and pitches like that, or this man that comes out and on stilts and pitches. And now they've got a woman softball player who I think if I'm not mistaken, she's like the first woman to play banana ball or something like that.
Incredible.
And they just brought out, like, it's so much fun. Nikki said it was definitely for her. Yeah, exactly. Definitely. All right. I guess that has been your baseball half hour. Sam. We do actually talk about wrestling if this is your first time here. I promise we do. And we'll just talk about some. We'll go ahead and get into it. This ended up being, I was telling Collins, this ended up being a much busier week than it looked like it was gonna be. So we had obviously Title Tuesday, which only had, for a show called Title Tuesday, only had 2 titles on the line. But then the next night was the Collision taping, and also we found out that because the Jags are getting a new stadium, this will probably be the last Daily Show Daily Place shows until 2028, which is very sad. So,
for those who loved watching during the pandemic, like,
this was so cool. Nikki and I have been twice. We went for Fight for the Fallen was on Nikki's birthday, and so me and Nikki and a friend of ours drove down to Daly's Place for that, and then the first Double or Nothing, which was the first pay-per-view post-pandemic, we went to that. And Daly's Place is such a cool place for a wrestling show, and also after the way the fans behaved the week before when they were whatting Tony Storm. Tony Khan, you can't run any other shows in Florida unless it's at Daly's Place. So I guess Florida is just not going to get a show for 3 years.
Yeah.
Please don't run anywhere else, because they were so rude. And they just were kind of, They just were kind of just there, and then they were wedding Tony Storm, and I was like, nope, don't ever go there again, please.
I know that y'all talked about it last week because or was that last week or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember, but I cannot believe that we are still 2025. We're still what, Channing? Like,
please
grow up.
Right. Like, I know wrestling fans, I know we love to chant, and now, like, because the big thing is obviously the European and Australian fans always show up American fans because they sing their theme songs, and so, which they don't do it as much in AEW, but now it's become a thing in WWE where they're doing it more often, where they're singing it at American shows. And I'm like, oh my God, come on. Like, it's, you know, they were like chanting, they're like singing for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And like, can we get on with this show?
See, here's the thing that I absolutely like, as someone who I've worked in commentary, I've done, you know, the manager thing, I've done the, you know, ring announcing thing. The thing that I hate the most is when there is a couple wisecracks in the audience.
Oh God, those are the
think
worst.
that they can take over the show.
Right.
Anytime I've been to a WWE show or an AEW show, there's always one person in our section who's trying to make their own chance, put themselves over.
Right.
And I just hate it.
Stop
trying to put yourself over. Let the talent do what they're supposed to do, and then cheer.
Right. Yeah, it does get really old.
although I did think when I went to my first NSYNC concert, which was my first ever concert, I brought a sign for Lance Bass.
Of course.
I thought in my 12-year-old brain, 10-year-old brain, 10-year-old, that I would have the sign and he would point to me and I would go on stage with him and then we'd fall in love.
There you go. Well,
I'm a child.
Right.
That's like a child thing.
No, that's a child brain thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And I went home so sad because my mom was like, why are you so sad? Why are you crying? And I'm like, I didn't get to go on stage. Nobody got to go on stage. Why would they yell at someone in the 200 section to come up on stage? You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah. Well, when you're 10, you don't realize like how far, and you think that they can see everything, which means way up in the nose.
They kept pointing. They kept pointing, you know? Although my husband said last night while we were dancing on the dance floor that I do the point thing a lot. And I'm a pointer.
That's I think that's a millennial thing, though. I mean,
yeah, pointing. I'm giving you everything.
Right.
Hell
Exactly.
yeah, Lance Bass.
Yeah, I love to see Lance was my side. JC was my number one. Lance was my number two. And
JC had the talent.
Surprise to all of us when Lance ended up not being into the women.
Would not be the first time. Between Lance Bass, Clay Aiken, and Adam Lambert.
Yeah.
Why were all my crushes part of my community? I don't know.
Right. Well, maybe it's just, well, at least you're in the same community. So you got that.
Hey, could have said something about myself. Okay.
So Crash says Daly's Place is an interesting looking venue, all right, but damn, that tight space around the ringside isn't conducive for doing a spot outside the ring. Not sure why they can't extend it. It's because it's a concert venue, basically, because it's attached to, like, it's literally like I think it's called Everbank Stadium, I think is what the name of where the Jags play. It's literally like in the same, like, it's not quite attached. Well, yeah, I guess like the outer plaza is attached, and then it's like it's Daly's Place, and they do a ton of concerts there. Like, that's what it is. It's a concert venue. But during the pandemic, they didn't have a choice, and so they were like, put a wrestling ring in it, and so it got, and like you used to see like, and then you'd have like the wrestlers around the outside for the crowd, and shout out to Austin Gunn for being like the AEW pandemic cheerleader.
Yeah.
He referenced it last night on Collision, talking about how he was like the I think he called it like the Daily's Place MVP or something, which he was, because that he would like Sheeta. I always like one of the visions I always remember of him is Sheeta used to with her robe, like she threw it out into the crowd and he was wearing it during her match and he had her kendo stick and was like cheering for Sheeta the whole time. And they used to have like all the baby faces on one side and all the heel wrestlers on the other side to be the crowd. And like, man, pandemic era Daily's Place was a time.
You know, I went to a wrestling show, like a local wrestling show in Chicago, not knowing that there was a heel and face side.
Oh.
And I sat on the heel side.
Right.
And like, I didn't realize, I just chose a seat.
Right.
I didn't think it was sign seating.
Yeah, I would not have thought that either.
There's no signs, but the people around us were like, this is the heel side. You have to cheer for the heels. And it's like, I don't know who the heels are, but okay. I'll do whatever you want.
Right. Sure. I'll play a part.
Yeah.
So, but yes, going back to Crash's point, we did see this come into play in a very terrible way. And it ended up being, I didn't realize it was the first match of the show because again, this was taped on Wednesday, and so the reports coming out were like super exaggerated. Like clearly the injury was bad, but like they were saying, like so we start seeing these reports. Kota gets injured, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Kota got injured at the seriously?" So I'm trying to find information like everybody else, and then people are like, his leg was turned backwards. What do you mean his leg was turned backwards? Like just saying like there's reports that like his leg was like turned the other way or it was twisted, and I'm like, are we sure about this? Like this sounds.
I thought looking at like because someone sent a picture and I was like, oh, his hip is just out of place. Like that happens to me because I'm hypermobile all the time.
Yeah.
So it used to happen to me when I was training with wrestling is I was like, oh, all you have to do is go to the ER. They'll put your hip back in. Yeah. And someone was like, that's not his hip.
No. It was not. And so it turns out, so then they were like, he broke his femur. And then people were like, femurs are really hard to break. Like Dave Hancock was, because he's an EMS and or EMT, and he was like, if it's, you know, that, like, they're really hard to break and it's career ending if that's the case. So of course there were wild reports for a couple of days, and then I think Wrestling Observer came out and they were like, and not a broken femur, but a broken leg, as what the rumor was. So then they were like, okay, well they're airing the match, so maybe it's not like, are they just gonna cut the match? Like, how are they gonna air this? So then we get to the match and we're all like, so I'm covering it knowing like the spot is coming. And I see, because I saw the picture too of like, Don Callis looks very concerned. Bryce Remsburg looks like he's going to cry. Kota's honest. And so, and I knew it was like which side of the ring it was on. Cause like, even in the earlier in the match, like he got dumped on his head. And I'm like, that wasn't even it. Like, the DDT
that wasn't even it.
No, it wasn't even it. It was the attitude adjustment. We were going for an AA on the top rope and he slipped and went crashing into the barricade. And I think Josh fell too. And so I don't know. Did you watch on HBO Max or did you watch on cable?
HBO. Yeah.
On HBO, did they show multiple replays? No, okay.
I don't think so.
I saw somebody tweet and they were like, I can't believe they showed this many replays and they were showing it in slow motion. And I was like, where did they show that? Because I was watching on TNT because it's easier when I have to, like when I'm on live coverage, if I have to rewind something, it's easier for coverage. And so
I didn't watch the live feed.
They showed it.
I watched it after.
Well, maybe it was different because I didn't watch the HBO broadcast, but they showed it in the actual match, showed the replay once, and that was it. Like they did it, no slow motion, at least not. So I don't know if HBO showed a slow motion. I didn't see anything about that. So it turns out we'll go back to what they did afterwards. So Kota posted today on his Instagram. He's already had surgery, and he got this beautiful bouquet from Tony Khan. If the if it translated properly, he said it made him cry. He didn't expect Tony to do that for him. And he showed the picture of the little note that Tony wrote, had typed up for him. And he said that he has a fractured femur, which is not broken, but fractured is not great either. So it wasn't
that could
broken.
be a longer time out.
He
too.
said it could take he said, I don't know if it's going to take a year or a year and a half, is what he said.
No!
He said, hang on, I screenshot the translation. Again, Instagram translation may not be the best, but from what it appears, he said not again. He's just badly injured. This is a fractured femur and a broken bone trying to break through the meat. I would say stop surgery. And he said, I'm hoping to live as a common man from now on if it's my next major injury. Then he said down here, I can't believe the president sent me a bouquet of flowers and a letter directly. If they do this, they won't quit again. I cried. He said, I don't know if it'll take a year or a year and a half, but I'll do something. Now I'm in severe pain. Only working from my toes. I was surprised that I felt painful. Mr. Tony Khan, just have to keep going. So it sounds like he's going to try not to let this be the last thing from him. But this man is also, even though he looks like a little 20-year-old baby, he is 43 years old. He has had a lot of injuries the last 5 years, and it's terrible. This man has defied so many things. This man, he's jumping off of balconies. He's doing moves with firecrackers.
Yeah.
He thinks there's 25 hours in a day if he goes to bed later. Like, he has just a very quirky, and it just happens to be one of the greatest wrestlers of his generation.
Yeah. So I fell in love with him, obviously, because of Kenny Omega. Like, the gateway to falling in love with Kota Ibushi is usually the Golden Lovers and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
But, like, the things that he does, the risks that he takes, it's almost Darby Allin level.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't fall in your head that many times. You can't take that many strikes in the back of the head that many times. Like,
right.
You can't put Roman candles in your chest.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like, it was bound to catch up for him. But, like, these last 5 years, like, he's broken his ankles. He's had matches where he should not have been in the ring, and he looked awful. I never did see that match, but I heard how bad it was. And I'm glad that Kota, it seemed like he was getting maybe to redeem himself some, and, AEW was going to, help him out. He was getting to reunite with Kenny, and then he just gets injured again. And I am heartbroken for him. I'm heartbroken for Kenny, because it sounded like, based on what happened. So, first of all, did you have any issue with them showing, because I saw some comments, did you have any issue with them showing the injury itself and how it happened?
So I'm not like one of those people that, like, if I see an injury, like, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna throw up.
Right.
But knowing that it was happening, knowing that, like, where the spot kind of was, knowing that it was pre-taped and everything, I think it made it easier for me to anticipate it. Whereas, like, when I saw, for instance, I think the one that comes to mind is, like, watching Alley Catch break her leg.
Yeah.
During that GCW
that
show.
Yeah, we were watching.
Not expecting it
live. Yeah,
and we're watching it live, and it's like, I feel ill right now. Like, I can't believe I just watched this. There's been so many different, like, injuries that have happened in the ring that you're like, I can't believe that I'm watching this right now. I feel like I'm going to be ill. I'm going to faint.
Right.
But it kind of made it
her
easier.
Screaming on top of that. Which made it even worse, is you could hear her on the camera. It was picking up. Yeah. And they were like, get her leg out from under her.
Yeah.
Like,
ugh. It's something that, like, I keep seeing. And I'm sure, other people could stomach things a little bit better. But yeah, knowing that Alley Catch did return this weekend.
She did.
At Hog.
Good for her.
Amazing.
Congrats.
So excited to see the rise back to the main event for Alley Catch. Yeah. But yeah, there's a couple injuries that you see and you're like, that was really hard to see.
And I think, Lyric made a really good point that she's like, I'm glad they showed it, because there were so many wild rumors of what happened to him. And
Mhm.
not that was not hard to, bad to watch, but like, we were like, literally, there were reports saying his leg was like turned around, and like you could see, like, they made it sound way worse than it
Mhm.
was. And as far as like the seeing it happen, so I think I didn't have an issue with them showing it, because like you said, we knew it was coming. It
Yeah.
was not graphic per se. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously not enjoyable, but like, it wasn't like, there's not like bone coming out of his leg or anything like that. Like, it just looked like, and at the time that this taping is happening, they didn't know the extent of it. Like, Doc Samson got out there like quickly. And at first I wondered, Nikki and I were like, why are they not just like calling the match? Why are they doing the count out? And then it was obviously they were just going to go ahead and do the story that they already had scheduled. So do you think that they should have just ended the match then and that was it? Or do you think or what are your thoughts on them continuing with the post-match angle that they did?
I have a hard time with the post-match angle, knowing like how severe that they knew the injury could have been. Was like, it was an actual like stoppage. It wasn't like, this is kayfabe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of during the Mae Young Classic when Dakota Kai shatters her knee.
Right.
And Dakota, being of the, like, not realizing how bad the injury is, was like, let me try to keep. No, there was no. Yeah. And ironically, the ref during that match was Aubrey.
Oh, that is right. I forgot. Yeah.
So, and she immediately threw up the X. There was no angle, like, get her out of here. Rhea Ripley went on. But it's one of those things that, like, if there's an actual injury, knowing that, like, we don't know, like, if it is like, because I imagine if it's poking out of the, like, if it's trying to poke out in that manner,
they would have called it.
They would have called it.
Right.
Just ended it there, go to a backstage segment, like, go somewhere else.
Right. It seems like they just went with, at the time, they didn't know how the extent of the injury, and so they're like, let's just go ahead and do that, because that was clearly the angle they were going to do anyway. Had the match finished like it was supposed to, no injuries, Mark Davis would have made his return, which kind of sucks for Mark Davis. Like, on the one hand, like, he's getting this really big spot, which is great for him, because he was, when he got injured, like, he was really starting to get some momentum. He breaks his foot. He was only supposed to be out 2 months, and he was out way longer, and so you're setting him up for this big return. And then it's unfortunate that it came with Ibushi's, and so with Ibushi's injury, but I think they didn't know how bad it was. I think Doc was just like, hey, something's up with his knee, and Tony's like, just let's do the angle. We got to set up Kenny, because we've got to set up Kenny's match for next week. Potentially whatever he's doing at WrestleDream, let's just go. And then they realize after the angle, we're going to have to get a stretcher to take him out of here. Like, he cannot stand up and walk on his own. And so I can understand why some people are annoyed that they went ahead with it. But I think nobody knew in the moment how bad it was. And so they were just like, all right, we got to send them out there. We got to get Kenny set up, because they do. Now we have a 6-man match next week on Dynamite, which was clearly going to be the match. And then I don't know so I'm wondering now, like, what was the plan for WrestleDream to do Golden Lovers versus Josh Alexander and Mark Davis? Was that where we were? This was leading.
That's how it feels.
Andrade was already previously committed to an indie show that same day, so they were not going to do Kenny versus Andrade. Which I'm sure they knew, signing Andrade. Andrade is like, hey, I can't do WrestleDream. Yeah. So they were probably like, okay, well, we'll do Golden Lovers versus Josh Alexander, and Mark Davis will be back. This sets up that match. We'll just do this. That's kind of what it felt like to me. And so now I don't know. I'm assuming WrestleDream is probably going to be Kenny versus Josh Alexander and or Mark Davis. It's my guess, because Kenny is going to, now he's definitely, like, he was already going to avenge them, because I don't know when they're going to do Kenny versus Kyle Fletcher. But Kenny, obviously they put him out of action, and Kyle Fletcher is yelling, oh, he's dead into the microphone, which leads to Hangman versus Kyle. And so I think, because we'll obviously run Kenny and Kyle at some point, but I thought that maybe, okay, so they're going to run some sort of Don Callis family thing here.
Something, Don Callis
That's what
family.
it felt like. So I get why people didn't like them continuing to do the spot, but I felt like in the moment for what they were doing and not knowing the extent of Kota's injuries at the time, they were just going ahead and setting up for next week. Had they known, like if it was a point where we had to throw the X up, clearly that would not have happened.
Right.
And
but like, I'm also thinking of like injuries that have happened in AEW. All I'm thinking is like, do you remember the table spot where Dante?
Yes, Nikki talked about that too. The Dante, the ladder match that they did.
Yeah.
He
that was a clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. It was just that visual. It's like, could you imagine like an after match angle with that? No.
Right. No, exactly. So I think had Kota's injury been like that, then no, the match would it would not have happened. But because you could even say, like, I guess a more recent one in WWE was Liv Morgan's injury. She got injured on live TV in the match, and they kept replaying it. They replayed it like 5 times.
So many times. It's like, do you have any other content? Come on.
Right, yeah, they just kept replaying it, and they're like, oh, we think it happened here, and like we think this happened, this injury happened, and then of course they ended the match because there was no way she could go on because she, I think she broke her shoulder, and so it was very, it was terrible to see. And then, but yeah, the Dante Martin I think is one that a lot of people go back to because that was really gruesome, and and then they would not have done,
they wouldn't have done an angle.
Yeah,
but then it's like
Nikki made the point
sickos,
that which Crash said, for the sickos. And then, Kota Nikki said she feels like Kota would want the story to keep going because most wrestlers are like, you have to keep going. You can't just, don't let my injury.
He's also a sicko. Like he's sick.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so, and Mark Davis, the choking angle was kind of not the greatest. That's clearly what he was going to do. But, Doc was already, like, as Crash said, it's not like he put him in an ankle lock or anything like that.
Oh my God!
It's not ideal. Like it's not the greatest that he did that. But what I really thought was funny was Kenny comes out with a trash can, hits Josh Alexander right in the head with it, but then Mark Davis, he sends Mark Davis crashing onto the floor. Davis tries to get back up. He nailed Mark Davis in the face with that trash can, and I laughed so hard because I don't think he was supposed. Maybe he was. I'm sure it was in character, but it also felt like you were just choking out my best friend and
his lover,
the love of my life,
ex-lover, ex-boyfriend, whatever. You want.
Love of my life. And I'm going to hit you square in the face with this trash can.
Yeah.
And then he sold the hell out of it too. So I think they made the best of the situation. Mm-hmm. Maybe Mark Davis shouldn't have choked him. I don't know what you would have Davis do. I guess punch him in the face. But how was that? I mean, at least he didn't whip him up in an ankle lock as Crash said.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah.
Right. Well, and Crash said it's not like a wrestler fell from 60 feet from the ceiling and you allow the pay-per-view to continue. I mean,
it's things like that it's like, at least it's not that. At least we didn't watch a man die.
Right.
And then continued the show.
Right. I mean, maybe it's not in the greatest of taste that you have Mark Davis come choke out a man who was injured. But at the time,
do you remember
they did not know how severe the injury was.
Like, going back in the day in AEW, with Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara.
Yes, that's when I.
And you're just seeing those eyes.
Should have been stopped. Matt had that is why Rebby went and yelled at that man. She yelled at Tony Khan for letting the match continue when he was clearly concussed. Like, that match should have. I talk about that match a lot. That match should have ended. It should have. I was like, I get that Matt Hardy is a veteran, but sometimes you have to protect wrestlers from themselves.
Yeah.
And that was the case where you should have stopped him right then and there. That match should not have continued. And then the match.
The rest of the show was just like, did we just are we?
Is Matt Hardy okay? Like, this is a man who, and then poor Sammy, like, he's not the veteran here, and he's got to go with whatever. Like, he's like, all right, the vet's not calling it, Tony's not calling it, ref's not calling it. Like, I guess we just finish this up.
I guess
like, I'm not going to be the one to make this call, and that match should have ended right then and there. So yeah, that's definitely one of their bigger mistakes that they made, was allowing that to happen. And he rightfully got yelled at by Matt Hardy's wife.
Absolutely.
she flew to Jacksonville to yell at him, which is the correct response. So now, thankfully Kota has had surgery. He's on his road to recovery. Bless that man. I don't know. I hope that is not how he goes out. I hope that that's not it for him. That would be awful, and I wish him the best. But Kota is kind of a genetic freak. I also would, maybe we do see him get maybe he does come back in a year or a year and a half. But at that point, you're closing in on 45-year-old Kota, who will have been out of action. Like, I don't want to count Kota out by any means, because if anybody could come back from something like this, it's Kota. However, there are a lot of things against him as well, and I just want him to live a happy life and to be able to. That's
also the thing. I don't want him to be, how unfortunately some of these Japanese wrestlers, they wrestle until they can't move.
Right.
And we already saw how Prez, how just he can't.
He wants to be like Inoki and
Tanahashi.
Yeah.
With how beautiful he is during that cage match, I was like, oh, just let him do one move. That's it. That's all you need.
When Kota is the one telling you not to do something, when Kota is the voice of reason in any match, there's a problem.
Yeah. But like, it's to the thing of like, even when Tanahashi going to the ring, right? When they were doing that, lead in for the big match, right? For the pay-per-view. The way he's walking is like, oh, that guy's back is messed up.
Right. His knees are barely.
His knees are shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's keep this man keep walking, Not everyone can be, Ishii, where it's like kind of part of his walk now. But like
right.
Although when I throw my back out, I often look like Ishii because I'm just
yes. You just walk like a Sloan Pitbull, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm trying to do.
Just trying to be like Ishii. Everybody should try to be like Ishii.
Listen, wear little bitty shorts, long t-shirt. There you go.
Yeah. See?
He's a costume.
So yeah, who knows? I really just hope this is not the way that Kota Ibushi ends his career. But on the other hand, it almost seems like the most Kota Ibushi way to end a career is wrestling until you. I mean, granted, it was an unfortunate injury, spot. But Kota kind of going out because he's being forced to go out sounds like that might be the only way to stop that man, because he will always find a way. Which is why I'm like, I'm not going to count him out, even though I know the odds are very much stacked against him. It is Kota Ibushi, and and so Nikki says she's going to picture that every time she screws her back up as Ishii, who they have brought back, who I'm always glad to see when he comes. I mean, I love watching him in New Japan, but I'm always glad, especially when he gets the conglomerate.
I just feel like there has to be like a Mark Briscoe translator for Ishii, because the way that he looks at him is just like, how do you, that's not even English. That's like a different.
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe is, I don't even know what he says half the time.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to just like really listen to him. And I guess I don't know if Ishii is just going off vibes, like, okay, he is getting louder. Oh, he's moved into the camera. Okay. Then he just, which is funny as we're talking about promos and like Ishii's reaction. The new thing has been watching Daniel Garcia react to Pac promos, because I noticed it last night when they were sitting there. He was standing like this, and you could see his shoulders moving up and down because he was laughing at whatever Pac said. And then Wheeler, they cut to Wheeler, and Wheeler's like also trying not to laugh at Pac. And then Daniel like gathers himself, and then he says something else, and Daniel is struggling so hard not to break. And then it happened, because that happened on Collision, but then I think there was another promo he cut, and Daniel Garcia is like trying so hard to like look tough and look. I'm like, you're not supposed to smile at Death Riders, but these two, but Yuta and Garcia can't stop grinning because of whatever crazy thing Pac is saying. Which
Absolutely.
I'm still not used to. Pac wearing clothes, and now we're wrestling in a singlet.
Bring back naked Pac. Like, what is wrong with you?
Wrong.
Why? It was like how I felt when Finn Balor went to wearing just pants, and I'm like,
right?
Why are you denying me of them thick legs?
Exactly. How dare you? That is so rude.
I just assumed that Pac only wore his little trunks because his legs didn't fit in pants.
Right. But no, apparently, and then he wears like oversized black shirts, and then he like wears the singlet, and he's like, his chest is busting out of the singlet. And I'm like, sir, like, why are you restricting yourself?
Let's stop restricting. Just Pac, wrestle in your trunks like God intended, and let's continue this wrestling thing.
Like Nikki said, he got tired of people saying he looked like he was swimming to the U.S. because his hair was always wet. He's wearing trunks, and people said, I saw people were like, he looks like he swam to get here. So maybe I
always laugh when I do my curly girl routine because I have to flip it over, and it's just strings, of hair in the front, and I always say, it's my Pac era,
It's your Pac era. Yes. Yes, I too. Yeah, I also just want Kota to live a happy and safe life. And yes, and Crash says he expects Kota to be back on his bike in no time. Love him. Vinkin, we are going to talk about those, and just we're gonna get to that. But yeah, so Pac is trying new things. I don't know what they were feeding him while he was away. He looked even like how did he get even more jacked than he already was?
I don't get it.
And then he's wrestling in a thing. Like, I don't know what's happening to Pac. Like, why is he wrestling? Why is he wearing clothes?
What happened?
Then, speaking of cloths, yesterday I didn't watch because it was on early in the morning, and I did not have to do Crown Jewel coverage, but I've heard the match was fantastic. I've seen clips. AJ wore his shorts yesterday. He hasn't worn shorts to wrestle since TNA.
Yeah.
He busted out the same gear that or I don't know if it was the exact same gear, if it was inspired by, but it was the gear that he wore when Impact debuted on Spike TV. That's what he wore. And that's what he wore yesterday. And I was like, why? You should wear shorts more often.
He really should.
Like, it's fine. Yeah, exactly. Mox, he said, same with Mox, really ripped in a short time frame. He wasn't that ripped a couple weeks ago yet. And speaking of somebody who used to, like, when Mox wrestles in shorts, like when he's wearing his shorty shorts like New Japan, like, that's a different level of Mox coming to play when he wears those shorts, which now we get jeans, which, I mean, he did the Dean Ambrose. He wore the Dean Ambrose jeans. And so now he's brought them back. But yeah, Mox looks ripped too.
He's got such like a cunty little waist, Like, I would love to see John Moxley. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, I don't have
waist doesn't say no red meat for that, man.
See, I just had the private chat over here with StreamYard open because I can't see any of that. That's so funny.
Oh, wait, perfect timing.
I just think that Moxley has the body of someone who could do a fantastic drag, And plus, he's bald, so you could tape down that wig no problem.
You could.
But it would be a very different face card, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I love the Death Riders. I loved the entire thing when they were holding the belt hostage. I love all their segments.
I love John Moxley.
And as much as I was like, oh, I hate it, because he was literally holding the belt hostage. If he was actually coming to the ring with the belt, I would have not had such an issue. But it just John Moxley, Death Riders, everything about this is just everything that I think he wanted to do in WWE, and why would they not let him?
Right. That's somebody was saying. Oh, so apparently, yesterday after the pay-per-view, Triple H was out there. Not the scrum, because we don't do those. But where they're out there with the crowd, like with Big E and stuff. Apparently, the fans were chanting Mox at him and also MJF. But I was like, I don't know if you're trying to get them to come, but John Moxley is not ever coming back because Dean Ambrose is dead. Taylor can't come to the phone right now because she's dead. Yeah, that's Dean Ambrose. He is not ever coming back. He
does not give a shit about money either.
No,
he's like, I just want to wrestle.
That man has said it. He has said that if he would be a trophy husband if Renee wanted to continue working and let him sit at home. I'm like, sir, you can't. You will not function if you can't wrestle. What
he would find a fight with a trash man. Like
exactly. He's gonna he will fight. He's gonna fight everybody that comes through. He's gonna invite. They're like, oh, we need a repairman come over so I can fight him. John Moxley is not gonna just like Ibushi's always gonna try to find a way to wrestle. John Moxley is also gonna always find a
absolutely.
Mox with sparkles.
Oh my gosh! Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, Mox stay-at-home husband, man's lying. Like, yeah, he was saying that when Renee was putting out her cookbook and stuff. He was like, I mean, I could just be a stay-at-home dad. I'll just be a trophy dad. I'm a trophy husband.
Just Mox with a little apron on, but then the rest of the Death Riders has someone tied up, sitting at the table.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy my baked goods,
Exactly. Just have Nora come over and put makeup on him.
Absolutely.
Crush said he would totally pull it off. He's a bit of a gender paradox despite all the body hair. Oh, John Moxley. Now I kind of want to see John Moxley in drag because, yeah, he does have a really great body for that. It's that snatched waist. That's got to be what it is. He said Mox would love to hear this combo. I don't know. He was like, please don't ever let them near me. He'll be like, no, I understand why you drive Tony Khan crazy. So we will, since we're on the AEW train, we'll just stick. We'll come up. We'll talk about the matches before we go to the other important thing that happened this week. But so Wednesday night on Title Tuesday, we got a couple of new matches announced for WrestleDream. We've got they made Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship official. We also got the World Tag Team Championship match because Okada and Takeshita won their match. They won the double elimination tag match. And so because of that, they earned a shot at Brodito, who Bandito's shoulder is hanging on by a thread and some gum and duct tape that Brody King found. So we're getting we'll have that title match that we got on Wednesday. And then last night we got even more matches. So the Demand, which I hate that name, but the Demand, who is Ricochet, Khan, and Toa Leona, will be having a rematch with the Hurt Syndicate after they just had a banger pay-per-view level street match. That street match was
so good.
Awesome. They were just, I think a lot of those matches on Tuesday felt like pay-per-view quality matches. They're like, oh, this is a Tuesday night show. We're going up against the other thing. We gotta show all the way out, and they did. And then also they announced last night during Collision that we are getting Jamie Hayter versus Tekla on the main card the first non-title match, women's non-title match in months.
Whoa!
And as I told Collins before the show, I can't tell if this is because we're not getting a Mercedes match at all, or if we're making the Mercedes match this week. But on Friday, Mercedes is going to Mexico. Well, first of all, shout out to 10 Belts Monet. She won belt number 10 over the weekend.
Whoa!
Hell yeah. We have tied Ultimo Dragon. She is Ultimo Monet on her Twitter now. So shout out to her. She's one belt away from winning, and I think she's going to win it next weekend because Friday she's going to Mexico. She is defending her CMLL title. So yes, she does actually defend these titles besides TBS. I know some people like to say that she doesn't. Then on Sunday is when she goes to Canada, I believe, and she is wrestling Jody Threat for her title. So I assume that means we're getting title number 11. We're breaking the Ultimo Dragon's record. And on Saturday, actually 2 days before, so Thursday, I believe she will tie Jade Cargill for longest reigning TBS champion. So she would go into WrestleDream as the longest reigning TBS champion of all time. If she has a match, but regardless, she will break that on Friday. And then I saw she is going next month. She is going to Romania? She's going to another country next month to defend another one of her titles. So yes, she is actually defending her indie title. She has her Rev Pro title. She defended in August, so she's not just taking titles and then not defending them. She is. I know that's a.
She's working. She's busy.
Yeah, she's booked and busy all the time. And so, so we do have it. So I can't tell if they're giving us the non-title match because it's making up for Mercedes not being on the card, or if they're just waiting to announce Mercedes' match this week. But what are your thoughts?
I just want to see her healthy. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to make sure that she is healthy enough to continue to do all this. But let's break some records. Let's keep breaking these records, because if there's anything that I am in this world, it is a Mercedes Moné stan. Even when people don't like her and she's being talked about in a negative way, there is something that I have seen with her since 2014.
Yeah.
And I think she's further proving, out of the 4 horsewomen, she's the better one. She's the best one.
She is. She has inspired, she's inspired so many women, and you see these women that she has defeated for these independent belts, and they are all saying, I became a wrestler because of Mercedes. I never thought I would get to wrestle her. I'm so honored that I got to be in the ring with her. And they're not mad that they're losing their title to her, because they get to
wrestle her.
Right. That's been their dream. And they never thought it was going to happen, because if she had stayed where she was, this would not happen. She would not, unless they got signed by the WWE, this would have never happened. Her leaving, she said when she came to AEW that she was gonna elevate women's wrestling globally, and she has done just that. Thank you. I see. That's what I thought. So it is. Jermaine said she's in Rome. She'll be defending her title. She's wrestling Japan, Mexico, Rome, Austria, Japan. She's wrestling all over. She's wrestling in the UK. She is global. She's doing what she said. She is globally raising women's wrestling, and people are, and these independent companies, she's not, because obviously there was the thing, she's making them give her their titles. No. They know that she is a draw, and they want people eyeballs on their product. And it's working.
That's the thing with Mercedes, is a lot of her belts that were in WWE were as a result or a transition to something else. A lot of people don't her SmackDown championships as something prestigious. It was leading to something else, whether it was Charlotte Flair or Bianca Belair.
Right.
The tag titles being a fucking joke. And knowing that her and Naomi walked out being I'm not being booked how I want to be booked. I'm not being perceived as we want to be perceived. We're not even on your pay-per-views. We're on your daily TV that nobody gives a shit about.
Right.
There were so many creative differences that walking out meant I care more about my legacy. I care more about elevating women's wrestling, and I care more about the lineage of these titles that I don't care about the money.
Right.
She has the
And
money.
she's making bank on top of that. Like the money is not the priority, but she's making it.
She's making the money. And that's also the thing of like, she knows her worth, and people laughed at her.
Yeah,
Said
they did. And
Becky,
then people tried to,
Charlotte, they're all better.
tried to laugh at Naomi because she went back. But look what happened when Naomi went back. They were putting her on TV. She had the title. They put her in an incredible storyline with Bianca and Jade, leading to her winning the title. And she only vacated because she's pregnant, which is something she has been talking about wanting for a very long time. So Naomi got, even though she went back, she got paid more. They put her on in big spots. They put her in big storylines. We got to see her in this really fun heel role that she was doing. Like, so Naomi going back, it did not harm her. It only elevated her and got her what she was, all she was asking for. And she gets to be with her husband, which is another thing that she wanted as well. And so both of these women have, when we look back on this in 15 years, 20 years, like you're going to see the way these women now, women wrestlers coming up can look at them and say, well, this is what they did, and I can do it too. I can ask for this much money. I can ask for women's wrestling to be a lot, and I can make sure that women's matches get 15 minutes at least on the pay-per-view now. Like, I can do all of these things because Mercedes and Naomi showed me what I can do. Which especially, and I know I say this as a white woman, but as a Black woman in wrestling, wrestling has not been kind to Black champions in general, but especially Black women, to have them, Naomi and Mercedes, to do those things that they're doing as women, it's already one thing, but you add on that layer of them being Black women on top of that, that is so historic and important what they're doing, and especially what Mercedes is continuing to do by holding this many titles. Black women wrestlers don't do this. They don't hold, women in general generally don't, but Black women specifically do not.
And they don't main event WrestleMania.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that's where, and she has faced, and that's where a lot of this belt collector hate comes from. Like, Kenny was not getting the hate that Mercedes does. And a lot of it is because she's a Black woman. And we have said that on this show before, and we will continue to say it, because if I can see it, I know y'all can too. So, Mercedes is very important to women, to not just women's wrestling, but wrestling as a whole. And I'm so glad that she's getting to do the things that she's doing.
And she's only 33.
Right. I mean, look at the match. Look at the match she had last week with Lacey. Lacey Lane. Yeah, she did not have to give Lacey a title shot. She said, "I want to face somebody from Florida. Let them have a shot at my title." Lacey looked really good. I thought that was I really enjoyed that match. I thought she looked great. I think Lacey was, I would like to see more of Lacey. Granted, we saw her with Mina the week before at ROH. Yep. She got the title shot against her as well. And Mercedes is like, look at what she did for Harley Cameron. Like, she had people wanting Harley Cameron to win a title after two matches on the main roster.
which is like, and there were people being like, yeah, I think that they'll do it here. And it's like, are you
sure?
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
And that's not
you sure about that?
Harley's not talented, and that she's clearly very charismatic, and that Harley, but Mercedes gave her that spot in Australia to do what she's doing, and to be able to, and so I feel like that's kind of what she did for Lacey Lane, and she's doing that on the indies with these women, because somebody in the comments said it somewhere about how she's going back to these companies and giving the rub to these women. And she's coming back to, she's coming back and she's defending the title, or the opponent gets a rub and the title will get elevated. It boosts profiles of the people she's working with, which is the whole point. Like, Mercedes is not out here trying to just take these titles and that's it. She's elevating everything she does is with a greater purpose. And so, yeah.
Excellent. It's excellent. So,
yeah, Brad says the same people complaining about Mercedes don't seem to have the same energy for the old Tell Hardy because holding titles for 3 companies. Yeah, they're 3. Listen, I love the Hardy Boys forever, and they are currently holding three titles. They won 3 titles this weekend. Well,
and
I mean, they had one, but
that match on Tuesday was very.
I didn't see it, but I heard they are. I did see the one spot with Jeff Hardy, and
oh yeah,
I saw that one going around. I heard that they were talking about, obviously they are a bit on the slower side these days, but
as people who saw them in their heyday, it's like it's kind of a little bit difficult to watch it because it's like you're not this is not the same, which is why tonight at Bound for Glory, which I don't know if you're going to watch Bound for Glory tonight.
I forgot it was tonight. Yeah.
Versus Team 3D / the Dudleys for a table.
Yeah.
Why is Devon there?
Devon, this is supposedly Devon's final match.
It should have been his. Once you have a stroke, like I feel like.
Yeah, supposedly it's because it's his final match. Yeah, and listen, I know that I'm biased because I have loved the Hardy Boys for decades, but I don't necessarily think that this equals them having titles because they can still do these without the titles. But they are people who stay after shows and do meet and greets for hours. Like they regularly talk about how they sign autographs till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's
because
insane.
They still mean that much to people. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to have the title. I get rewarding. TNA is one thing to reward them with titles. Now you've got the NXT titles and you've got the HOG, but that's kind of the same thing. Like they're like, okay, well now you have to come back and defend it, which means people will come pay us. So, but yeah, nobody is complaining about them in the way that they are with Mercedes. And so I think she will get to 11 titles before she starts dropping things. And then that story is going to be fun as hell. Watching Mercedes lose control and unravel and it's going to be so epic when she starts dropping titles.
I mean, if we're going to call it out, I want Athena part of that equation. Absolutely. It's time.
Same.
It's time.
Especially after the way she lost to Toni Storm. Again, nothing against Chris Statlander, and I know what they're doing, but also you had Athena was right there, and you had her tap her out, which I know that was not something you were happy with. I know that upset you. You had some thoughts.
I was very mad. I can be mad, right?
Yeah. You could be mad. Yeah.
But I would book things differently, but I'm not Tony Khan, so.
Right. And I get it. And again, as I've said many times, this is nothing against Chris Statlander and her having the title. Right. However, just looking at the overall, like, you had her beat Mercedes Moné again, and then you turn around and have her beat Athena, and then she loses in a very quick, which I mean, I get, like, that made sense for having Stat beat her, is you do have the quick win. To make it shocking and make it like that's the only way you can beat her is to quickly do that. Like, so like that's the storyline like that I don't have an issue with, but however, just looking at like if that wasn't clearly this is where they've been going with the Death Rider story, and Stat was for her to get the title. And I'm glad they're going to do a 1-on-1 match next week where she has to beat Toni clean 1-on-1, no Death Riders. No Tekla. Maybe that's why they put Tekla and Jamie on that card so that they'll be distracted and can't come.
They can't interfere.
They can't interfere. They have their own match to worry about. Somebody else pointed out that Mercedes didn't wrestle on last year's WrestleDream, which I had forgotten about that. So thank you for that reminder. So maybe she's not. Maybe that's why we're getting. Which I get. I'm super glad that we're getting the.
Oh, I went to last year's WrestleDream. I forgot.
Yeah. Brad said,
even though she was on the poster.
Yeah, she was on the poster. Was she? Yeah, that's not. Okay. So Brad said that Jamie Hayter versus Tekla is the first women's match on the AEW pay-per-view without any stipulation, tournament, or title since Britt versus Saraya at Full Gear in 2022. And then if including stipulations, then it's the first since Chris and Willow had the Chicago street fight.
Last All Out,
before.
which I made my list of top 20 wrestling matches that make me cry, and that was on my list. So you should go watch that video on my channel.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should also. Yes, please go follow Collins. Oh, yes. Listen. Fernando says Queen Amanada should be the one to take the TDS title from the CEO. Nothing against Athena. Let the young talent shine. I mean, I love me some Queen Amanada.
I think that she's going to get the pure championship.
That's what I was about to say. She's going to get the pure championship. That's what she's going to be doing, which she should. She'll be an incredible pure champion. If we ever get this tournament, we've had 2 tournament matches since the pay-per-view in August. That's it. 2. Because as we like to say,
but here's the thing: they've had pure title matches that aren't part of the card.
Yes, but not tournament matches. Like last week, they did the same thing. Yes, please. Find a title for Trish Adora because she's incredible, and I don't like all of STP having titles and then Trish not having one because Trish needs one. She's incredible, and we love her in this house. I would not be mad if she is the one to eventually dethrone Athena. I would not be mad at that because Trisha's fantastic and I love her. But yeah, so maybe we'll get a pure title eventually. That's why I said 2 weeks ago, are we getting the AEW tag team champions first? Because we are taking our sweet ass time with this pure tournament. Yeah. I will say one thing I really enjoy that ROH has been doing, and now AEW is doing it, is we're leaning more into the mixed tag matches, and we're letting the women get in the ring with the men. Willow fucking up FTR. Oh! Incredible. Sorry, like, I loved it on so many levels. Like,
Willow could do anything, and she chooses to beat the piss out of FTR because we've all wanted to do that.
Yes, Willow, you're living my dream right now.
Thank you, Willow. Thank you, Willow.
Thank you.
You know what? FTR bald, FTR hair. If y'all want to go back and block me, I don't care. I'm glad Willow beat the piss out of y'all.
Me too. Yes, everybody should fear Willow because she will beat your asses. Don't fear her. Now FTR does. I love that Willow is getting in their faces, like even before the fight. Like she's like, I have to, like Beth told me not to, when Beth Copeland told me, like she showed me that I don't have to put up with men like you. I was like, yes. Yeah. Oh, I was like, I love everything about this. I was like, yeah. And then she got in there and was mixing it up with them last night. Even though I was like, Cash, you better be careful grabbing that woman's hair like that. I was like, you are very bold.
You're about to catch a charge.
Yeah, I was like,
we all gonna get your ass.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, grabbing any woman's hair, but a black woman's hair, like we don't. What are you doing? Are you trying to die? Like, what are we doing here? And then, like, I do like them adding Megan into it because Megan needs something to do. Megan will beat up a man too, which unfortunately was Jet Speed, who I love, but like,
I mean, she's had matches versus Speedball before.
Yeah,
and I mean, she would do intergender matches all the time with Joey Janela.
Right.
So,
and Penelope used to do them when she and Joey were together. That she was the bad girl and he was the bad boy. She was doing intergender matches too, and she was kicking dudes. Penelope was doing it too.
Oh my God.
Maria said Willow and Beth Copeland versus FTR.
Absolutely, book it now, Tony Khan. Let's go.
I am here for that. Please do it. Book that. And put Stoke in there because he was talking crazy about Beth, talking about how big her head is. I was like, so what are you doing? She's going to kill you. She almost did.
Every person wants to powerbomb Stokely. So.
Right. So Willow's just living everybody's life.
She's living her dreams. So.
She is. Hello, I make beats. He's got crappy internet to my night. Well, thank you for stopping by. We are here. We're happy you're here no matter how long. Jermaine says that Mercedes was on WrestleDream last year, but it was a backstage segment to set up her match with Aminata. So she didn't actually wrestle on the card.
Let me tell you. WrestleDream last year.
Uh-huh.
It was in Tacoma last year. Went to it. It was weirdly hot that day. It was like 85 degrees that day.
Oh my God.
So I had so much water before I went into the venue. I was drinking Diet Cokes and water.
Oh my
God.
God.
It was nobody's business, to the point that the lady in our area, because we were sitting, I had them sit with the media with me. To the point that the lady just started giving me free refills.
Wow.
And I purposely pissed through that Jericho match.
You know what? Good kudos to you for finding the correct timing.
But I hate that it was like one of the last matches, and I was like, finally, my piss break. But
oh my God. And thankfully that was not him. It was Andrade. Because I straight up thought we were getting God. Mickey said he hasn't been around for a couple weeks. Good to see y'all. It's dark here now. Oh no. It's getting late where you are. Well, thank you for being here, and we appreciate it. And you will see that we have Collins, who is filling in for Mel this week. Mel is celebrating. Last week was Mel's wedding anniversary, so she is celebrating this weekend. And luckily for me, that meant I was like, oh, guess what? That means that Collins can come back.
So that's the fun part when wrestling made me cry is on a little bit of a hiatus right now. Yeah. So,
but Collins does have another podcast, the Peak Millennials, and she will be recording that soon. So we do need to get onto a couple other things, just because I want to be respectful of her and her other co-host time. And this was a really big story, and apparently my tweet made men mad, and I knew it.
You making me love
I made men. All I said. So if you somehow have not heard, Kylie Rae announced on September 22nd she was pregnant. WWE the ID tweets the same day. She has vacated the title. We're happy for her. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. And instead of pausing her contract, they let it lapse and then told her 3 days ago, we're not renewing it. Bye. And so all I tweeted was, not re-signing a pregnant woman is a bad look, is an awful look.
It really is.
And nobody saw it for a while, just some regular people I interact with. But then somehow I had to go make sure that Sean Ross Sapp did not retweet it, because I saw that he liked it, but he did retweet it. But I don't know if people were checking his likes. So after he liked it, that's when the men in the bots found it.
That's what happens to me all the time. And I love my boss. But sometimes I'm like, ugh.
Like, he didn't even retweet it. So I was like, are you going and looking through his likes and then finding people to be mad at? Like, how, like, he didn't, I mean, maybe he liked it and bumped it into people's For Yous. Yeah, because I looked and I was like, did he retweet it? Is that why all these men are mad in my timeline? It didn't appear to be. Yeah. But it was just all these men, maybe some bots, because, you know, WWE does like to deploy the bots. They've done it to me before. And they were just like, you know, and they were like, she shouldn't. So what made me mute it was the man who said she shouldn't have gotten pregnant when she was champion and blamed her. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to mute this. I don't want to see any more thoughts. I'm going to fight somebody on the internet. It was a great
block list for me. So
yeah, I was just like, nope. And then like, they were like, oh, well, this happens in corporate America all the time. That doesn't make it okay. And then it was it's just WWE ID. It doesn't matter. She was their inaugural champion. They would have, had that not happened, they would have renewed her. She still would have been champion. What do you mean it doesn't? And they're like, well, that just means it's not a real contract. It's just an ID contract. She had the WWE ID title, which, yeah, probably means jack shit anyway. But the point is, she was a champion and would have been champion.
I'm sure that there were conditions and like all the other things. They could only go to like certain promotions that were approved by, like we don't know. I've never seen inside those contracts.
Right.
But you aren't wrong, because now there's going to be an asterisk in the lore of WWE ID of inaugural women's champion vacate title due to pregnancy.
Right.
Contract not renewed.
Posted it on their ID, like there's a tweet from ID. I have it screenshot because I posted it over to Blue Sky where they congratulated, I will read to you what they wrote. So they could have just, as Mike Gilbert said, they should have just paused it that they should have paused it the day that they took that she vacated, and that would have been it. And it says the WWE ID Women's Championship is now vacant. WWE ID is proud that Kylie Rae will go in the record books as the first ever champion and sends congratulations on the addition to her family. Thank you, Kylie. That was September 22nd at 8:24 p.m. Eastern time. And granted, it is Evolve, so slightly different. But the Evolve Men's Champion, Jackson Drake, his contract was renewed. He re-signed a contract yesterday or within this time period. So that tells me that had she not been with child, they would have renewed her, and they did not renew her only because she is pregnant. They didn't fire her while she was pregnant like they did with Dawn Marie, so she can't.
At least there's not.
So I guess she can't technically sue them. Legally, I don't know how this works because they let the contract lapse. It was not a contract in the sense that it's a different sort of the ID contracts. Again, like you said, you and I have not seen what are in those. Mm-hmm. It is slightly different. The point of my tweet was it's an awful look, which is exactly what I said. And then that made men mad. And it was all men in my comments. I mean, there were a few who agreed with me, but it was mostly. And so I muted it. I don't know if people are still talking in there or not. So it is a terrible look. It looks very bad when you do not, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, she's pregnant and they didn't re-sign her. That is an awful look for a company.
Even if it was bad timing,
right?
Wait, how much does it cost? It probably doesn't cost them a lot.
Yeah, if it's an ID situation where it's not a full contract, then why can't you make sure that she can have some money while diapers are expensive.
Yeah, right? Now you're messing with I don't know. I also think that there are some men who just think you fall pregnant. Oops,
right.
You're not being careful, blah, blah. She already has a kid, right?
Right.
She's in a happy committed relationship. So
right.
I don't understand how people whether you're intentionally or not, things happen.
Right.
What are you just supposed to close your legs?
Right. Apparently that's what we're supposed to do.
You're a champion now, so you are no longer allowed to be intimate with your partner. Are you kidding?
Right. Is that what would you tell Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins that?
Right. But it's also the part of I think that there are men who don't understand intimacy as a whole. So it's to be intimate with your partner is that's part of the thing. So you're asking them to not be together.
But then if she were withholding it because she was champion and you heard about it, then you'd be mad at her for not performing her wifely duties or whatever bullshit.
Right.
The women she can't catch it. Regardless, she's either not performing her duties as a partner or she's being irresponsible and getting pregnant while champion.
Sorry, everybody's absent.
So what are you going to do if a man impregnates somebody while he's champion? So he can father children while he's champion.
One of my coworkers, his wife was pregnant, and then we were like, "Oh, you're going to take time off?" He goes, "No, the mom is moving in." So he got a week off and then came back.
Oh, okay.
And it's what? That's not weird? Is that
right? Imagine telling Naomi that she was irresponsible for getting pregnant while she was champion. Like,
meanwhile, this woman has been trying to get pregnant for, I don't know, 15 years.
Right, exactly. Brad says you're only allowed to get pregnant while under WWE contract with their permission. It's like putting in for paid time off. And yes, birth control is a thing, but birth control fails all the time.
It's not 100% effective. Like, dude.
No, just like condoms are not 100% effective. Neither is the pill. Neither is IUDs. Neither is the birth control implant. Neither are vasectomies. From time to time, people have gotten pregnant while their partner had a vasectomy. So, like, that's not. But you can't control how somebody creates their family because they have insane behavior. And it's insane.
It is
I was like,
insane.
I have to mute this or I'm going to lose my mind. And Nikki did point out. So one thing I did see, and I only saw it because he tagged Powerbombshells. So a friend of mine commented, and he was like, I hate that company. Like the thing about Kylie. He's like, I quit watching them a long time ago. I can't.
Yeah.
And I said, I only watch it because I get paid to. Like, it's the truth. Like, they are a despicable company.
Mm-hmm.
And someone saw that and tagged Powerbombshells, Daily DDT, and Wrestling Inc. and told them that I need to be, basically said that I didn't need to work there because I don't like WWE and they didn't do a good job vetting me. And said, I clearly don't want to be there. I'm sorry, do you 100% like your job all the time? Do you love every aspect of your job? Do you think as a writer that, look at like political people, do you think they like covering half the things that they cover in politics, but they do it because it's their job, just like me?
They wouldn't have any idea because guess what? They work at the fucking gas station.
Right. Where, listen, like, if you 100% love every aspect of your job, you are very lucky.
They work at the gas station. They work at the local megaplex. They haven't any sort of growth, personal or professional, in 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
They're still living at home with their mom.
He was never gonna watch Powerbombshells or read Wrestling Inc. or Daily DDT because I write for them and I don't like WWE.
Well, guess what? Didn't even know you could read, bud.
You didn't know that Powerbombshells existed until you saw this tweet. You probably have never read Daily DDT or Wrestling Inc. in your life. I was like, yeah, right. Crash said he's probably a big freedom of speech advocate, as in share the exact same opinions as him. Listen, I've been open about that company, but there are things that I do love about it. I actually wrote about that on Friday. But as a whole, like, they have despicable people in charge, and it's awful, and I hate it. And I hate it for the people who work there that do these things. And so, yes, it's very unfortunate for Kylie. And then on top of Kylie, which was interesting, like earlier in the day, Zeta Still, who probably the best person they had, everybody thought she'd end up like in NXT soon. She said she decided not to. She's like, I'm young. Yeah. I don't want to do this. This is not for me. Didn't resign. Then it comes out that they've released other people, either in the ID program, the Evolve program, or just down in the PC. I think it was like 10 people. And I think clearly the most shocking besides Kylie was Wesley, the former Desmond Xavier.
He is just in a program.
Right.
They just did things.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was very surprised by that. And I guess they hadn't done as much with him after he lost the title, but still, like, he was a big part. Like, I think Wesley was the one that just, besides Kylie, it just shocked everybody because he had, like you said, he just had a program. Like, he was somebody they actively used. Like, it wasn't like he was just sitting there. And it was interesting because the day before I had heard that, because I don't keep up with Impact anymore, but the Rascals were doing their Treehouse segment, and they said their TNA contracts come up in December,
which I thought they're going to go to WWE.
Right. That's what I thought too. And maybe they are, but going back, but just Wesley just seemed like a complete shock. And then Brad says he'll be back as part of the Invasion story, but under TNA contract, so WWE doesn't have to pay him. which also would not surprise me. What if they swap? What if Wesley goes there and then they send the rest of the Rascals to WWE? That would be crazy.
That would be absolutely crazy. I wouldn't put it against them.
I
but
wouldn't
like,
I wouldn't put past them either.
they trusted Javon Evans to have a program with him not even a couple months ago.
Right. Yeah.
Who Javon Evans, who they want to elevate to WWE main roster over on SmackDown.
It's incredible.
He had a match with Joe Hendry. Mm. He's been on the NXT live circuit this entire time.
Right.
I don't understand. And he's the most liked one. He's the most marketable one. Like,
right.
He also didn't have a crazy ex-wife.
Right. He didn't shave his mustache in a questionable way.
Mm-hmm.
And which is the reason one of those rascals is not signed to a contract.
I mean, no shade, but like, I hate that, like, that at the time, that was my friend. That was my friend's, like, Kimberly was my friend. So it's like, yeah, fuck those guys, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, that was stupid. But a lot of people do stupid things.
Right.
And also, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Let this be a lesson for everyone else. Don't do stupid things and post it on Snapchat.
It wasn't.
I mean,
it's not wrong. The best way to put it, and especially like, yes, this was a few years ago, but like in today's time, if we were doing that today, when we have real life, not that we didn't have real life Nazis then,
they just weren't.
They're more in your face. They're not scared anymore, and we need to make them afraid again.
And they weren't,
Yeah, they weren't doing all of the things. I Make Beats asks. Does Paul get to decide who gets released for NXT, or does Hickenbottom get a say? I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea. I know that like this is a TKO. I mean, this was expected. Like, not that WWE was doing cuts during the pandemic because I wrote about it every time it happened. So they typically make cuts often, but they are doing them more frequently under the TKO brand, which is what a lot of people said when they're like, TKO does this a lot on the MMA side of things, and they don't pay people well. And like, I mean, because you can even look at who was the wrestler who just left, blanking on her name. She didn't re-sign, and she basically said they lowballed her. She's like, I can't do what I'm doing on this amount of money, so I'm leaving. And I can't, if this was like 2 weeks ago, why am I forgetting who it was? But they're showing, so they're already low. Yes, Jasmine. Thank you.
Jasmine Nix. I was it's the one with the makeup name.
Yes, Nix. That's the best way. Yes, the makeup name. I too use NYX products. She said that they lowballed her. She's like, or I can't, living in Florida, I can't make with a high cost of living. I can't. This is unacceptable to me.
And I think
I have to move on. But this is going to keep happening because TKO does not want to pay people. If they cannot pay people, they will. So this is going to keep happening where they're going to release people, or they're going to lowball them, or they're going to do the thing they did with Stephanie Vacker, where they're like, hey, we can't pay you as much as AEW, but we know that it's been your dream to wrestle here. So like, take a pay cut so that you can have your dream job.
Yeah, have your dream job. Here's the thing, though. I think the cost of living conversation is important to have, because more and more now than ever, I think that people like Matt Cardona, Effie, Ali Catch have all proved you can make a living wage on the indies and having fun.
Right. Exactly.
People will pay it.
People will, like, you can do it. Like and granted, you can make the argument that like the three of them are also very personable. They're very charismatic, and like people want to see them. Like, perhaps, I don't know what Karrion Kross makes, or Killer Kross, or whatever he goes by. Maybe
now.
Yeah, maybe he's making bank right now too. I mean, Scarlett did say that Scarlett, but I don't think she likes them being in MLW. She was like, "Hey, if we get signed by AEW, then that's the flag we're gonna fly. Like, we're not gonna be like, oh, we're going back to WWE. That's not fair to Tony." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting that you just said that out of nowhere." I personally have no interest in seeing Killer Cross in AEW.
I don't think that there would be a place for him.
I caught the end of him in TNA, didn't care for him, didn't care about him at NXT, and then Adam Cole cut that promo, which I agreed with, and that basically killed him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't wrong, which is why it killed him, because he was telling the truth. And I'm sure, and I've heard they're nice people, I'm sure they're wonderful, but like, I would, if you're push Scorpio Sky, now that he's back, or put Ace Austin has not had a match since you signed him. Put him on my TV. Like, I would rather put Dalton Castle on my TV regularly. Like, I would rather you do that than signing someone else. Like, bring in, like, push these people that you already have on. Put Nyla Rose back on my TV, please. Like, I've been begging you, but like, I would rather her be on my TV than you bring in. And and it was funny because like Santos Escobar was gone, rumored to go to AEW, even though he had had no contact with them, because that would be contract tampering. And their sides had not talked. WWE got wind of it and said, "Hey, so we looked at your concerns and we can fix that, and we'll pay you a lot of money. Please come back. Don't go over there." Which, good for him.
Good for him.
I really didn't want to see him in AEW either, because again, use the talent you have. Like, I don't need you to. LFI it's fine, which is what I figured he would have done. I was like, they'll probably put him in LFI and let him go wrestle in CMLL. That's probably what they'll do. But like, I don't. I have no interest in that. But yeah, so I feel like TK is going to keep doing this. They're going to keep lowballing wrestlers, and they're going to make the option to leave, or like the ID stuff. She was like, you know what? I can probably do better on the indies. I'm leaving. Again, we don't know what's in these ID contracts, but
and I'm not gonna discount those who also have decided, I'm just gonna leave wrestling and go make money on OnlyFans. Because I'm telling you, if you think that they're doing hardcore porn,
they're not.
Like, because 20 years ago, China, the blueprint for powerful women fighting men and women, got the low end of the stick, putting it nicely, with WWE. She knew how much she was worth, and they said no. She went to Japan. She did everything that she could in Japan, because there really wasn't a women's division there.
Right.
And she wasn't going to wrestle, nobodies.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she had to make money. She had to do things. And she went into the porn industry.
Right.
And that only takes you so far. That really limits you.
Right.
And now there are people
out of the Hall of Fame.
Right. Which is stupid, dumb.
Like the other person who was on the other end of that sex tape, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Make it make sense, babe.
Right, exactly. What are we doing here?
But it's the thing of, now we have people like Mandy Rose, who is never coming back to wrestling.
No, why should she? Why should she put her body on the line where she could potentially get seriously injured, when she can just look hot and make money that way? In an interview, she was saying that she was making 4 times the amount of money from NXT, and she was a champion.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, NXT is lower paid than the main roster, but she was higher. I mean, she was a champion, and she still, people are making, and so they aren't doing, like you said, they're not doing hardcore stuff. They get to control, like, some fans are already being weird and taking weird pictures of them wrestling, and then, posted, like, there are accounts strictly dedicated to women in wrestling gear, and like they make them and they put them in sexual poses, they slow down they make gifts and so these women are getting on bodily autonomy. They get to control
absolutely
what they put out there. They get to control how much skin they show, how much they want to charge. Like so you're already going to make money. You're already going to do things for them. Some fans are going to be like weird and already do stuff. So why not let them control as much as they can and get paid for it? It's their body.
Absolutely. Do it. And people are going to pay for it because duh.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They're going to pay for it anyway, regardless. So you might as well let them be the ones to make money off of it instead of weird people selling, like making 8x10s and selling them of you. You get to control. Like, look at Jordan Grace. Like before she was in NXT and she was in TNA, she was making bank on the photos she was selling. She even said, so back when Jonathan Gresham was doing, why did I just blank on it? The show where he was putting on the shows, why did I blank? He did like 4 shows and they were, Jordan said, she was like, my OnlyFans paid for that show. Like that's how he was able to put on that show. I paid for it with, like, I wanted to invest in it. And so I paid it with and she was like, and who do you think takes the pictures for my OnlyFans? Who do you think takes the pictures for my calendar? My husband. He took them. He's the one.
And he knows what angles were best and it worked. Right. I got that calendar in my cabinet over there. Come on.
She looks, and so yeah, why shouldn't she control those
Absolutely
things? And she, especially because TNA wasn't paying shit. And so she was like, hey, I can do these things and make bank and control and I can make, I can send these, my fans have direct access to them, everything. Yes, I have heard I make these ask, this is Gresham okay? That was scary for someone so young. Yes, and I had just seen him wrestle 2 weeks prior. He was here in Charlotte for Ashe, but I did hear that he has been cleared to wrestle. I don't know that he's booked anywhere, but I know that he has been cleared. Like I think that was an update I saw like a week or 2 ago. So he does appear to be doing better. And that man was trying to wrestle like the day he got out of the hospital. Or no, they were doing a recheck and Jordan was like, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. He's crazy.
Yes, he is. But again, he's a wrestler just like Kota Ibushi. He's gonna be like, hey, I can like sort of like, I'm alive. Can I go wrestle? Like I'm breathing.
Right.
Can I get out here? But yeah, so we shall see. Maybe, well, next week we'll be back for, we will be here on Saturday next week. I don't know the time yet. We will be doing the WrestleDream pre-show where we will go down your match card. But of course, if there were anything that happens with more WWE releases, we'll definitely be talking about that. It sounds like somebody I saw yesterday, there could potentially be more coming. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. Jordan asked, I think you said are you watching Bound for Glory?
I am.
Okay.
I might live stream it. Who knows? Don't know yet.
Well, make sure you're following Collins. And as we are, hi, Tom. Nice to see you. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Collins has had an interview on Tom's show, and I have one coming up soon, and Mel has one coming up soon. He got both of us, so we're excited about that. So stay tuned for that. And yes, Javon, I would watch just for that. Did you see the tweet before we go where Myron Reed? First of all, Leon said he's the English Javon. Javon is the American Leon, and Myron Reed quote tweets it and said, "What have you two ever done?" And Leon said, "We both beat you." And he said, "Damn."
Damn.
I was like, you walked right into that, my guy. And speaking of Leon Slater, I get to see him next week. Unfortunately, I will not be watching WrestleDream. I will be at Ashe. So I get to see Leon Slater. Actually, I get to see him twice because I'm going to Ashe on Saturday and DPW on Sunday, and he is wrestling on Sunday. But on Saturday, he is, assuming he retains tonight against Javon, because I believe the X Division title is on the line. If Leon retains, Leon will be defending his title on Saturday in like a scramble match, I believe. So very excited about that. Yes, and then we get CSJ versus Takeshita is coming, and I cannot wait. And we're getting Shuri versus Sari for the IWGP Women's Championship. So exciting things are happening in wrestling. Watch wrestling that makes you happy and that you like. We like that here. And then Collins, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on all social media _queer auntie, because I am the queer auntie. Follow me for the days I'm going streaming. I mostly stream Thursdays through Sundays with a podcast that comes out on Mondays. We do have a audio only version for those that like just the audio. It's over on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you have podcasts. It's called the Peak Millennials Podcast. We talk about all things millennial with my co-host Natalie. I am doing Collins on the Rocks, and I am doing Coffee with Collins, not this weekend because I was a little bit busy, but those shows are live over on my YouTube, so you can go see some really fun shenanigans, and hopefully I'll get Sam on there one day.
Yes.
That we can talk anything but wrestling.
Right. We can talk baseball. Now we know we can talk baseball.
No, we can talk baseball. I'm into it. So go ahead, check me out there, _queer auntie on Twitter, on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, anywhere there is social media if you want to see my cute little face and also my cute little dogs. Oh, yes. She's asleep. Well, okay, my cute little dogs. So.
Oh yes. Oh, actually, I couldn't remember if we do have a banner. I was looking up like, hey, don't we have a banner? We do have a banner right here. So make sure that you please go follow Collins. Collins has been the MVP coming in to fill in a couple times. I'm so glad. One of these days we will make it so that Mel can meet them as well.
I know.
And
also, if you go over to the Peak Millennials Podcast Instagram, it's just Peak Millennials Pod. We are doing a giveaway. If you submit your millennial story to peakmillennialspod@gmail.com, you could enter into an Amazon gift card. So
that's very good, especially in this economy.
Yeah, especially in this economy. So send over your childhood stories, anything, diary entries, crushes. We want to hear all about it.
Also, you should follow the Peak Millennial Podcast on Instagram because they always have fun little like surveys and stuff, especially like they did the one that was like what color, like what subject was your red folder and what subject was your green folder, like these things, which is very cool. And so they're always fun to answer the little questions, and it's fun to press buttons on Instagram.
we like to do them. So if you
like wrestling fans like to chant, millennials like to press buttons on things.
Absolutely.
So, I Make Beat says that you have the coziest room he's ever seen on YouTube.
This is just my studio, so
yeah, we'll have to do. You should do like a room tour, or just be like, "This is my stuff."
That means I have to clean it. You can't.
Oh
you
yeah,
can't
well, then
see.
we can do that.
I
okay, well then no, never mind. We'll just do that.
we could. It's totally fine. But this is where
or you can just come hang out on the podcast, and you'd be like, "Hey, what's that over your shoulder?"
I know.
Then they can talk about it. See, and just like, "Hey."
The future for Coffee with Collins is sitting here drinking a cup of coffee and we just chat. So
I love it.
That's coming hopefully soon. I got to figure out how to mic things up over here.
Right. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But
yeah.
Yes. So, and Nikki said she has a Lance Bass related story to tell. She might
submit it. I got to start putting like millennial posters over here because I think I think this all needs a refresh. It's getting a little too crowded. So
find you an NSYNC poster from back in the day. Get you a Britney or like a Britney. I'm currently, speaking of her, I'm finally getting around to reading her autobiography, and
it's so good. It's so good.
Like we've known it for a while, but like just F Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, F Justin Timberlake. Absolutely.
All right, and on that note, I think we'll get out of here, and thank you again for Collins for coming to spend some time with me. Mel will be back next week. Make sure you come on Saturday. We will not be here next Sunday because I will be at DPW, but Saturday we will be here. I don't know what time yet, so make sure you're following our social media. Of course, if you are subscribed to Fight Game Media and have your notifications on, you will also see it when we go live, because we will come get you hyped for WrestleDream. And we'll see you next week. So thank you for hanging out with us.